Ready? Play.
And if you're wondering what this little thing is, well, let me tell you now, whether it be tea, coffee, or merely water, it tastes so much better from a talking tennis mug. And you know what? They can be yours if you wish to purchase one from our website. We've also got bags and stickers and hoodies and notebooks. Mira Andreeva. T-shirts as well, of course, coming in both black and white. And we've got a classic jumper for you as well, and many, many other things for you to purchase for excellent prices so you can look like some of the coolest people on the tour. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe and click that notification bell so you don't miss out on all things tennis.
Ready? Play. Ready? Play.
Elena Rybakina is going to be facing Emma Raducanu in the third round of the US Open in an eagerly anticipated affair and arguably the tie of the round. It is a match that I think many of us were looking forward to once the draw was made. Me in particular anyway, could see this collision occurring. I feel as though Emma Raducanu's first two matches were very winnable. Of course, she wears red and she wins at the US Open. We know that from her run back in 2021. And of course, this one as well. She's yet to drop a set as well, wearing red, both that year and also this year. But it was a favorable draw, it seemed, for her, albeit that maybe some people thought that Chen, the qualifier, who beat Ito, by the way, in the final round of qualifying, might pose a bit more of a threat than she ultimately did. And so Raducanu, as you can see here, has dropped just 6 games en route to the third round, but she is looking very impressive. And unfortunate for Emma that she's still not quite seeded for the slams. She's just on the fringes of that. So she is going to get tricky matches such as this one against Elena Rybakina coming up tomorrow. Talking of Rybakina, her path to the next round, a little bit more troublesome, particularly that second round match with Valentova, which we had live on the channel, where she had to come from behind in the second set, save some set points in what was a very tricky tiebreak, as you can see, but ultimately prevailing 9-7. By the way, super, super tight matches that go deep, and I'm thinking more third sets with Rybakina, often have been going against her this year. Think Iga Swiatek in the French Open. Think Leylah Fernandez in Washington recently. So, yeah, and also Mboko, by the way, in Canada. So, be interesting to see if it does get very, very nervy towards the end of the third set. Let's have a quick look at the head-to-head, by the way. As you can see, they've only played once before, and that particular encounter was on hard court in Australia back in 2022. So just a few months after Emma Raducanu won her US Open in Australia, in Sydney, by the way, I want to emphasize, not the Australian Open. And Raducanu faced a really bad loss, 6-love, 6-1. I think I heard some commentators, though, suggest that actually Raducanu today is arguably a better player than she was in the January of 2022 when she lost to Elena Rybakina. Of course, this is also 6 months before Rybakina won her first and only Grand Slam title at Wimbledon. Where and can I see this match won and lost? Well, it's difficult to even suggest whose racket this match is on, because I think both are sort of semi-aggressive players. Both really like to take charge of the point. I wouldn't say either are particularly defensive players. I wouldn't say either are particularly counterpunch type players. Rybakina probably relies a bit more on her serve. Raducanu probably relies a bit more on her aggression from neutral. And yeah, so that's kind of how I see it there. I do think Raducanu's made some quiet improvements to her game. She plays with a little bit more margin. She is a little bit more athletic. Most importantly, she's staying healthy. As for Rybakina, I think she's in the best situation she's been in for well over a year, I would suggest, in terms of winning big titles. In fact, pre-tournament, I imagined this match to occur. And pre-tournament, I had Rybakina not only winning this encounter, but also making the final. And I see no reason to change my mind on that. Unfortunately for Emma, it's a really tough third round draw. I think there's probably only 10, 15 players right now that are probably ahead of Raducanu in terms of likelihood to pick up that trophy come next weekend. But one of those, by some margin for me, is Rybakina. So I do see Elena winning either in 2 tight sets or perhaps 3 sets. And hopefully, for her sake anyway, shrugging off those 3-set tight issues that I suggested. By the way, don't forget, Raducanu also came off really roughly in terms of a really tight 3-setter against Sabalenka recently. But I do see good things coming for Raducanu, even if they're not in this match, but perhaps in the upcoming Asian swing for her. So still plenty to look forward to. And by the way, this is by no means a gimme for Elena. It could really be 60-40.
Hey, Talking Tennis fans, this is Zach Chakowski here, and we are talking about the Raducanu-Rybakina match that's coming up today. Get ready. This is going to be an instant classic. Rybakina in 3, at least 1 tiebreak, hopefully in the 3rd set, so we just get some extra points, extra time. She's going to pull it out, but Raducanu is going to make her work for it.
Fascinating third round matchup in the US Open. Emma Raducanu, Elena Rybakina squaring off for a spot in the 4th round. I think this is going to be a really fun matchup. Rybakina has never been past this stage of the tournament before, so she's looking to take a step further than she has in the past. Raducanu, of course, is a former champion here, looking to get back to the 4th round. Hasn't been there in a couple of years at the US Open. I think that this is going to be a very fascinating stylistic matchup. Raducanu is someone who likes to take the ball early, put a lot of pressure on her opponents and taking time away. And then Rybakina, we all know she's a huge power hitter, likes the ball flat and heavy going in on her opponents. There's a big serving edge for Rybakina in this match. She's one of the best in the WTA. Hitting first serves, winning first serve points, holding her service games. I think that's going to be a big edge for her. Emma could put a lot of pressure on her if she's able to get some returns in, but I just wonder if she's going to be able to handle the pace consistently enough for Rybakina to feel challenged in this one. I'm going to take Rybakina in 2 sets.
Yeah, so I wasn't really expecting to be excited for a Rybakina-Raducanu match, to be fair. But it actually looks like a cracker now. I mean, Emma has been pretty sublime in the first 2 rounds. I know it maybe wasn't the strongest competition, but like that kind of serving rhythm that she was in, it will be very useful against Rybakina, obviously. Can't let her just like attack your weak second serves, can't let her dictate as much as she would like to. Her movement has been very good. Her counter-punching ability, again, very useful against Rybakina. After what Elena was doing in the North American hardcourt swing, the kind of lead-up that she had and how much calmer right now she seemed on the court, I was like low-key expecting her to just go very deep here and make the quarters and play Arena again, probably. But, I mean, right now it just doesn't look as certain as it did anymore, you know? So I do think Emma has what it takes to make this a bit of a gritty affair. And if that happens, you know, who knows? Maybe that's when Rybakina's issues with the clutchness this season kind of come into play again. I definitely can't deny that it's a possibility. The favorite hasn't changed, but the underdog has definitely improved her chances in my mind from where I had her at the start of the tournament.
If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe and click that notification bell so you don't miss out on all things tennis.
Ready? Play.
Elena Rybakina is going to be facing Emma Raducanu in the 3rd round of the US Open in an eagerly anticipated affair and arguably the tie of the round. It is a match that I think many of us were looking forward to once the draw was made. Me in particular anyway, could see this collision occurring. I feel as though Emma Raducanu's first 2 matches were very winnable. Of course, she wears red and she wins at the US Open. We know that from her run back in 2021. and of course this one as well. She's yet to drop a set as well wearing red, both that year and also this year. But it was a favorable draw, it seemed, for her, albeit that maybe some people thought that Chen, the qualifier, who beat Ito, by the way, in the final round of qualifying, might pose a bit more of a threat than she ultimately did. And so Raducanu, as you can see here, has dropped just 6 games en route to the third round, but she is looking very impressive. And unfortunate for Emma that she's still not quite seeded for the slams. She's just on the fringes of that. So she is going to get tricky matches such as this one against Elena Rybakina coming up tomorrow. Talking of Rybakina, her path to the next round, a little bit more troublesome, particularly that second round match with Valentova, which we had live on the channel, where she had to come from behind in the second set, save some set points in what was a very tricky tiebreak, as you can see, but ultimately prevailing 9-7. By the way, super, super tight matches that go deep, and I'm thinking more third sets with Rybakina, often have been going against her this year. Think Iga Swiatek in the French Open. Think Leylah Fernandez in Washington recently. So, yeah, and also Mboko, by the way, in Canada. So, be interesting to see if it does get very, very nervy towards the end of the third set. Let's have a quick look at the head-to-head, by the way. As you can see, they've only played once before, and that particular encounter was on hard court in Australia back in 2022. So just a few months after Emma Raducanu won her US Open in Australia, in Sydney, by the way, I want to emphasize, not the Australian Open. And Raducanu faced a really bad loss, 6-love, 6-1. I think I heard some commentators, though, suggest that actually Raducanu today is arguably a better player than she was in the January of 2022 when she lost to Elena Rybakina. Of course, this is also 6 months before Rybakina won her first and only Grand Slam title at Wimbledon. Where and can I see this match won and lost? Well, it's difficult to even suggest whose racket this match is on, because I think both are sort of semi-aggressive players. Both really like to take charge of the point. I wouldn't say either are particularly defensive players. I wouldn't say either are particularly counterpunch type players. Rybakina probably relies a bit more on her serve. Raducanu probably relies a bit more on her aggression from neutral. And yeah, so that's kind of how I see it there. I do think Raducanu's made some quiet improvements to her game. She plays with a little bit more margin. She is a little bit more athletic. Most importantly, she's staying healthy. As for Rybakina, I think she's in the best situation she's been in for well over a year, I would suggest, in terms of winning big titles. In fact, pre-tournament, I imagined this match to occur. And pre-tournament, I had Rybakina not only winning this encounter, but also making the final. And I see no reason to change my mind on that. Unfortunately for Emma, it's a really tough third round draw. I think there's probably only 10, 15 players right now that are probably ahead of Raducanu in terms of likelihood to pick up that trophy come next weekend. But one of those, by some margin for me, is Rybakina. So I do see Elena winning either in 2 tight sets or perhaps 3 sets. And hopefully, for her sake anyway, shrugging off those 3-set tight issues that I suggested. By the way, don't forget, Raducanu also came off really roughly in terms of a really tight 3-setter against Sabalenka recently. But I do see good things coming for Raducanu, even if not in this match, but perhaps in the upcoming Asian swing for her. So still plenty to look forward to. And by the way, this is by no means a gimme for Elena. It could really be 60-40.
Hey, Talking Tennis fans, this is Zach Chakowski here, and we are talking about the Raducanu-Rybakina match that's coming up today. Get ready. This is going to be an instant classic. Rybakina in 3, at least 1 tiebreak, hopefully in the third set, so we just get some extra points, extra time. She's going to pull it out, but Raducanu is going to make her work for it.
Fascinating third round matchup in the US Open. Emma Raducanu, Elena Rybakina squaring off for a spot in the 4th round. I think this is going to be a really fun matchup. Rybakina has never been past this stage of the tournament before, so she's looking to take a step further than she has in the past. Raducanu, of course, is a former champion here, looking to get back to the 4th round. Hasn't been there in a couple of years at the US Open. I think that this is going to be a very fascinating stylistic matchup. Raducanu is someone who likes to take the ball early, put a lot of pressure on her opponents and taking time away. And then Rybakina, We all know she's a huge power hitter, likes the ball flat and heavy going in on her opponents. There's a big serving edge for Rybakina in this match. She's one of the best in the WTA. Hitting first serves, winning first serve points, holding her service games. I think that's going to be a big edge for her. Emma could put a lot of pressure on her if she's able to get some returns in, but I just wonder if she's going to be able to handle the pace consistently enough for Rybakina to feel challenged. And this one, I'm going to take Rybakina in 2 sets.
Yeah, so I wasn't really expecting to be excited for a Rybakina Raducanu match, to be fair. But it actually looks like a cracker now. I mean, Emma has been pretty sublime in the first 2 rounds. I know it maybe wasn't the strongest competition, but like that kind of serving rhythm that she was in, it will be very useful against Rybakina, obviously. Can't let her just like attack your weak second serves, can't let her dictate as much as she would like to. Her movement has been very good. Her counter-punching ability, again, very useful against Rybakina. After what Elena was doing in the North American hardcourt swing, the kind of lead up that she had and how much calmer right now she seemed on the court, I was like low-key expecting her to just go very deep here and make the quarters and play Arena again probably. But I mean, right now it just doesn't look as certain as it did anymore, you know? So I do think Emma has what it takes to make this a bit of a gritty affair. And if that happens, you know, who knows? Maybe that's when Rybakina's issues with the clutchness this season kind of come into play again. I definitely can't deny that it's a possibility. The favorite hasn't changed, but the underdog has definitely improved her chances in my mind from where I had her at the start of the tournament.
If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe and click that notification bell so you don't miss out on all things tennis.
Ready? Play.
Elena Rybakina is going to be facing Emma Raducanu in the 3rd round of the US Open in an eagerly anticipated affair and arguably the tie of the round. It is a match that I think many of us were looking forward to once the draw was made. Me in particular anyway, could see this collision occurring. I feel as though Emma Raducanu's first 2 matches were very winnable. Of course, she wears red and she wins at the US Open. We know that from her run back in 2021. And of course, this one as well. She's yet to drop a set as well, wearing red, both that year and also this year. But it was a favorable draw, it seemed, for her, albeit that maybe some people thought that Chen, the qualifier, who beat Ito, by the way, in the final round of qualifying, might pose a bit more of a threat than she ultimately did. And so Raducanu, as you can see here, has dropped just 6 games en route to the 3rd round, but she is looking very impressive. And unfortunate for Emma that she's still not quite seeded for the slams. She's just on the fringes of that. So she is going to get tricky matches such as this one against Elena Rybakina coming up tomorrow. Talking of Rybakina, her path to the next round, a little bit more troublesome, particularly that 2nd round match with Valentova, which we had live on the channel, where she had to come from behind in the 2nd set, save some set points in what was a very tricky tiebreak, as you can see, but ultimately prevailing 9-7. By the way, super, super tight matches that go deep, and I'm thinking more 3rd sets with Rybakina, often have been going against her this year. Think Iga Swiatek in the French Open. Think Leylah Fernandez in Washington recently. So, yeah, and also Mboko, by the way, in Canada. So, be interesting to see if it does get very, very nervy towards the end of the 3rd set. Let's have a quick look at the head-to-head, by the way. As you can see, they've only played once before, and that particular encounter was on hard court in Australia back in 2022. So just a few months after Emma Raducanu won her US Open in Australia, in Sydney, by the way, I want to emphasize, not the Australian Open. And Raducanu faced a really bad loss, 6-love, 6-1. I think I heard some commentators, though, suggest that actually Raducanu today is arguably a better player than she was in the January of 2022 when she lost to Elena Rybakina. Of course, this is also 6 months before Rybakina won her first and only Grand Slam title at Wimbledon. Where and can I see this match won and lost? Well, it's difficult to even suggest whose racket this match is on because I think both are sort of semi-aggressive players. Both really like to take charge of the point. I wouldn't say either are particularly defensive players. I wouldn't say either are particularly counterpunch type players. Rybakina probably relies a bit more on her serve. Raducanu probably relies a bit more on her aggression from neutral. And yeah, so that's kind of how I see it there. I do think Raducanu's made some quiet improvements to her game. She plays with a little bit more margin. She is a little bit more athletic. Most importantly, she's staying healthy. As for Rybakina, I think she's in the best situation she's been in for well over a year, I would suggest, in terms of winning big titles. In fact, pre-tournament, I imagined this match to occur. And pre-tournament, I had Rybakina not only winning this encounter, but also making the final. And I see no reason to change my mind on that. Unfortunately for Emma, it's a really tough third round draw. I think there's probably only 10, 15 players right now that are probably ahead of Raducanu in terms of likelihood to pick up that trophy come next weekend. But one of those, by some margin for me, is Rybakina. So I do see Elena winning either in 2 tight sets or perhaps 3 sets. And hopefully, for her sake anyway, shrugging off those 3-set tight issues that I suggested. By the way, don't forget, Raducanu also came off really roughly in terms of a really tight 3-setter against Sabalenka recently. But I do see good things coming for Raducanu, even if not in this match, but perhaps in the upcoming Asian swing for her. So still plenty to look forward to. And by the way, this is by no means a gimme for Elena. It could really be 60-40.
Hey, Talking Tennis fans, this is Zach Chakowski here, and we are talking about the Raducanu-Rybakina match that's coming up today. Get ready. This is going to be an instant classic. Rybakina in 3, at least 1 tiebreak, hopefully in the 3rd set, so we just get some extra points, extra time. She's going to pull it out, but Raducanu is going to make her work for it.
Fascinating third round matchup in the US Open. Emma Raducanu, Elena Rybakina squaring off for a spot in the 4th round. I think this is going to be a really fun matchup. Rybakina has never been past this stage of the tournament before, so she's looking to take a step further than she has in the past. Raducanu, of course, is a former champion here, looking to get back to the 4th round. Hasn't been there in a couple of years at the US Open. I think that this is going to be a very fascinating stylistic matchup. Raducanu is someone who likes to take the ball early, put a lot of pressure on her opponents and taking time away. And then Rybakina, we all know she's a huge power hitter, likes the ball flat and heavy going in on her opponents. There's a big serving edge for Rybakina in this match. She's one of the best in the WTA, hitting first service, winning first serve points, holding her service games. I think that's going to be a big edge for her. Emma could put a lot of pressure on her if she's able to get some returns in, but I just wonder if she's going to be able to handle the pace consistently enough for Rybakina to feel challenged. In this one, I'm going to take Rybakina in 2 sets.
Yeah, so I wasn't really expecting to be excited for a Rybakina-Raducanu match, to be fair. But it actually looks like a cracker now. I mean, Emma has been pretty sublime in the first 2 rounds. I know it maybe wasn't the strongest competition, but like that kind of serving rhythm that she was in, it will be very useful against Rybakina, obviously. Can't let her just like attack your weak second serves, can't let her dictate as much as she would like to. Her movement has been very good. Her counter-punching ability, again, very useful against Rybakina. After what Elena was doing in the North American hardcourt swing, the kind of lead-up that she had and how much calmer right now she seemed on the court, I was like low-key expecting her to just go very deep here and make the quarters and play Arena again, probably. But, I mean, right now it just doesn't look as certain as it did anymore, you know? So I do think Emma has what it takes to make this a bit of a gritty affair. And if that happens, you know, who knows? Maybe that's when Rybakina's issues with the clutchness this season kind of come into play again. I definitely can't deny that it's a possibility. The favorite hasn't changed, but the underdog has definitely improved her chances in my mind from where I had her at the start of the tournament.
If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe and click that notification bell so you don't miss out on all things tennis.
My name is Clara Towson, and I'm a friend of the show.
Boom.
I am Francisca George, and I'm a friend of the show.
Perfect.
Hi, my name is Susan Leemans, and I'm a friend of the show.
My name is Zainab Sammaz, and I'm a friend of the show.
Boom.
Hey guys, my name is Sasha Vickery, and I'm a friend of the show.
Boom.
Hi, my name is Lloyd Harris, and I'm a friend of the show.
Perfect.
Hi, my name is Jan Faria, and I'm a friend of the show.
Boom.
Yes.
Take one. Well done.
Hi, my name is Jasmine Paulini, and I'm a friend of the show.
Wow, Jasmine, you got it in one time.
Ready? Play.
Yo. Well, actually, two things I need to do. Mute my Michalski the Noden stream, which I will still be keeping up with, obviously. But also, yeah, bring the mic a bit forward. I can also bring Fergus forward, which is a good way to transition into the stream. Hello, hello. As far as I know, you weren't in that preview video that you just did. So when you fix your, whatever you are doing, I guess you should probably talk about, the matchup at least a little bit and what your expectations are. I'm hoping for Michalski and then Odin to finish quickly, and then I will start focusing on the match.
I mean, this is... I don't know. I'm very torn at the moment between what's going to happen. I think that probably Rybakina is more polished than Raducanu is at this current moment, although Raducanu has made leaps and bounds in the last, since Wimbledon, to be honest. I think she is, 11-4 since the start of Wimbledon. So it should be interesting. I'm kind of expecting this to go 3, but yeah, I still think maybe it will be Rybakina that just has the edge in the bigger moments. We've seen that Raducanu sometimes isn't as clinical in the bigger moments as some of the other top players. So this will be a real test for where she is currently with her game.
Yeah, I mean, Emma right now to me just looks like a very solid top 20, 30 player for sure. But still one thing kind of missing, from going even bigger is getting these sort of wins, pushing these sort of players time and time again. Of course, Rybakina has had her ups and downs, but she seems to be on an upward trajectory at the moment. Obviously, the North American hardcourt swing has been very good for her since the start of it. She started it early, semis every single time. Before the tournament, I would have expected her to be in round 4 for sure. Right now, there's a degree of uncertainty that I have, at least thanks to Raducanu being pretty effing strong in the first 2 rounds.
Yeah, I mean, Rybakina starts very quickly, currently sitting at, well, obviously, your stream is known for being absolutely lightning fast, so I don't know how
it will
far
be,
ahead
but
you are.
presently I'm still watching Michalski trying to save a match point. I wanted the match to be over quickly, but not like that, maybe. Oh no, yeah. And it is over. Okay, I mean, now I can switch to Rybakina. He led 4-2 in the third.
It's really disappointing for you that you have to switch over to the match that you are profiled to be doing at this current moment.
Yes, that is very disappointing to me, or more so even is the outcome of that match that I just watched. But anyway, what can you do?
Emma has won 2 points, but currently Rybakina is absolutely crunching.
Did we just lose Fergus? I guess so. Lower grade player on first rounds, says Terry. I don't care who she played. I mean, I'm just trying to, I watched her match against Janice Tien. I watched her match against Ena Shibahara. And I think she was, first of all, serving pretty much the best I've ever seen her. Also against Tien, there was just so much she could do with like her court coverage and footwork. And basically stop Janice from having any space to attack freely there. And of course, when she had the chance, she would crack the first ball. She would step into the second serve returns. It was just very strong tennis. I still don't think that Emma is like going to be consistently beating Rybakina, Sabalenka, Świątek, Goff at the peak of their powers. And maybe today this is something that we can kind of help me either show me that I'm wrong or show me that I'm not. Some of the takes that have been floating around on Rybakina Rybakina on Raducanu, I find pretty ridiculous. Like, seems like for years everybody is just dunking on her and saying that no, she won't ever achieve anything, and then suddenly she plays 2 good matches. And then they're like, oh, she should be in the top 10 of power rankings for the US Open. Or I don't know, she's going to be beating top players consistently. I don't know. I don't see it right now. I think it's kind of, people have taken an extreme and just got it to another extreme. But as I said, I'm presently more in the middle, top 30-ish. Let's say she's definitely playing that kind of tennis at the moment. Top 20, top 30, I don't know, however you want to call it. But let's see if she can handle the big players, if they are also, in a good moment, if they're playing well on the day. So far, Rybakina breaks her with a really good combination, playing an inside-out forehand winner. And we have Fergus back while I have to write up a tweet very quickly.
Of course you do. I'm sorry, my Wi-Fi is playing up very badly, so I may be dipping in and out.
No worries. Did you see how Raducanu got broken? I guess the Wi-Fi is definitely dipping in and out. I'll try to manage. Well, we've got the Rybakina box on the screen. That is also one of the conversation. That was one of the talking points this season, right? That whole mess with Stefano Vukov, who's now allowed back, and Sanguinetti, of course, being there. But right now, I don't really know what his position is like in relation to Vukov. That can also be an interesting conundrum. But she does seem a bit calmer in recent weeks. We don't know if it's Vukov related or not. But obviously the North American swing has been good, even if she still had some losses that mentally, she just wasn't there, like against Mboko, for example, in the key moments. She obviously faltered like she has been most of the season. But now, not much to defend until the end of the year. In fact, almost nothing for Rybakina. She really can be thinking of improving her ranking soon. And someone said earlier, like, she hasn't had a big US Open run. I think it was maybe Carson in the preview or somebody like that, right? So there is a chance there, I think, for Elena to get there for the first time and actually be a real threat at this event. Like, there's no real reason for her to be great in Australia, but not in New York, right? We've talked about this ad nauseum with Tsitsipas. Tsitsipas right now is, of course, just the same anywhere. But he also had that pretty fascinating record of just being very good in Australia and then doing nothing in New York. Oh my goodness, what a sensational shot that is. I mean, that's a return that should be winning Raducanu the points. That's quite unlucky, but you have to credit Rybakina for this. Got down so low, despite, of course, being a very tall player, and puts away that inside out back, and beautiful stuff. 5 winners to Raducanu's none so far, and she has a game point here. We'll see if Fergus is back at some point. 40-30. And Raducanu trying to take the return early again, but she will once more fail to win the point. So it's a great quick start for Elena. we've got Mr. Fergus Gavin again. Maybe you can help me out this time. Still haven't written more than a sentence.
I am sorry, this is going really well for me at the
No
moment.
worries.
I keep dipping out in and out of Wi-Fi, and my iPad keeps crashing. So I actually, I don't know. It's quite frustrating. But Rybakina holds for a 3-love. She's currently bossing this match. There's not really anything that Raducanu is doing too wrong at the moment. It's just that Elena is striking a very big ball, and it's coming very flat back at Raducanu, and it's reminding me a little bit of her Anna Samova match that she had in Montreal, where she was completely overrun. Played basically in the way that Anna Samova was just striking the ball so cleanly, but we've seen this before that Rybakina has these patches where she looks amazing for 4 or 5 games, and then has a real big dip. And suddenly starts missing, and the court suddenly then becomes a lot smaller for Rybakina, and that's probably where Emma could jump in. But at this point, she just needs to focus on holding here. Damien, if you haven't written a tweet by now, then you've clearly not writing fast enough, because
No, I've got it written. I just have to cut down to the character limit now.
The character limit, yeah. I was about to say, you do this at least 8 or 9 times a day. This is light work for you. Raducanu serving at love 3. It's a good serve that way. She needs to have a very high first serve percentage today if she wants to get anything out of this match, plainly because Rybakina will eat anything up that's short. These two obviously played together in doubles very recently in Washington. They were quite a successful duo, even though it wasn't very pretty to watch. How far do you have Rybakina going in this tournament? Just out of curiosity for you.
Don't remember if I picked her over Sabalenka or not. I can check that, I suppose. But either way, I had Rybakina Sabalenka in the quarters and the winner of that in the final. So.
Okay. Well, yeah, she obviously playing very well. This North American hardcourt swing obviously took out Sabalenka in Cincinnati. But yeah, another wayward return from Rybakina. Emma has a 30-15 lead in this game.
I'm done. That's not really a success because I had to tweet about Michalski losing. But anyway, what did I want to say? Oh yeah, that Raducanu, I felt like in the third game of the match actually was returning really well. She was like taking it so early, deep through the middle of the court, but Rybakina just hit a couple of shots that are like borderline lucky, borderline amazing. And maybe there's something there, but for now, obviously, the scoreboard doesn't reflect it.
Well, I've seen Raducanu make a lot slower starts than this, and the score look very different. So I have no doubts that this will be this.
Were they against somebody of this class, though?
True. Yeah. Raducanu does hold for 3-1 in the first set. Pretty comfortable hold. Rybakina sending a couple forehand returns long.
Yes, I did have Elena Rybakina making the final.
You did. There you go.
Honestly, I've been like pushing very hard for a Rybakina comeback for the last year or so. So it's not really a surprise, I suppose.
No.
Sometimes it's like true belief. Sometimes it's maybe even more like, just wanting her to do it. Because I felt like women's tennis was at an extremely good spot when we had Sabalenka, Rybakina, and Świątek kind of at the same level, back and forth. Just amazing level of tennis, really. And that maybe, I'd like to see that again. And Rybakina has been the missing ingredient, obviously, from that trio.
Yeah. But we've seen that when she's on, she's like so good, like unplayable even for the top, like the very top players.
Yeah, she's had some like absolute, she's delivered some absolute nightmares to the opponents, like the 6-3-6 love to Sabalenka in Australia. Of course, not the Australian Open, but just prior to that. I don't want to guess the event. I think it's Brisbane though. To Świątek as well. There was that season when she goes 3-0 on Świątek, and like nobody else really has that kind of record against her that season. Basically has been flopping in the slams for the last 2 years or so. Even in 2024, first half of the year, if we forget the Blinkova, amazing match, but still a second round loss at the Australian Open, she was like on par with Świątek for 6 months, except that she wasn't winning the slams. And of course, after all, it's a very slam based sport.
It is a very slam based sport. Even like you are remembered for your slam results, not for more for your slam results more than you are your Masters results, or like
100%. Yeah,
you could Casper Ruud your way through a career and you'd still be remembered for losing that slam final.
Yeah, I guess it's another topic because he has 3 slam finals, which is absolutely insane. But then again, he hasn't won one, so also there's a question of like, in 20 years, will anybody remember Casper Ruud? Or like maybe another question, because we will remember, we watched him, but people who will like show up and become tennis fans and will get like a little bit of a hold of history, will they get to know who Casper Ruud was? And the answer is not necessarily. I mean, I don't know who has 3 finals in history. Actually, most of the players who made 3 finals, they did win a title. But there are definitely some with 2 who never did it, and I just don't feel like they go down in history that much. Rybakina at least has that slam title. Thankfully, not asterisked due to the fact that it didn't give her any points. Nobody really cares about that, as probably they shouldn't. I mean, almost everybody was there, but the Belarusian and Russian players, of course. It would be amazing for her to win again and kind of put herself in a very different conversation. That's something we've also talked about over the years, where like 1 or 2 is a major difference. After that, 4 or 5 slams, who cares really if you have 4 or 5, to be fair. But 1 or 2 is actually a big jump as well.
You try telling that to Iga Świątek. She's gonna, might as well hand back her last 3 slams. Just the 1 or 2 will do.
But you know what I'm saying, right? I mean, whether you have 5 or 6 is not necessarily the most important thing in the world.
No, and it's still quite. Well, I just have to remind myself that Sabalenka has just 3 slams. Of how dominant she's been. It's crazy that she only has 3 slams. She only has 1 more than Goff, and
and how consistent she's been as well. Like if you look at the sheer number of semis and quarters she's made, she's just not converting these chances. And maybe it wasn't particularly clear before this season, but like this time you have a very clear representation of that in the 3 losses that she had, which were all winnable. And also just the fact that she's been, by far the most consistent, best player of the season, and just hasn't done that one thing, which is also coincidentally the most important thing in the tennis world. Nurlan is going to ask Emma Raducanu out, and Jake will definitely not love this message from Nurlan, considering what we talked about on Twitter the other day.
I think she's knocking on the door of being a great player. Top 8 is probably a stretch for me at the moment. Somewhere between 15 and 20 will probably be around.
I don't hate that. I said 20/30 to Jake, and I also said this on the stream when I came on. So, 20-ish is fine for me. Rybakina, by the way, is currently just blasting her off the court.
Yeah. And this is, as I said, literally like the Anasimova match, where it felt like it just was never there to be won for Raducanu. She was just being blasted off the court completely, and there was nothing that she could really do wrong, to be honest. She was just, the ball was being taken out of her hands. This sort of pattern continues.
Yeah, I mean there is a degree of that, Sidar, for sure. I mean Rybakina's game will never be particularly consistent. No, the fact that what we're watching right now does not have to last the entire match. Definitely not.
No. 2 seconds, Damien. Sorry.
Of course. I saw the producer earlier was like raising a question on whether Raducanu is a counter puncher. I think she's just very flexible. I've never really like been able to say that she plays a particular style not in all her matches. Oh yeah, and it's actually on the screen right now. I believe that in some of her encounters, especially post US Open 2021, she is primarily a counter puncher. Yeah. First 2 rounds against Shibahara and John Stien, for example. Yeah, I think she primarily played something like that. It depends. I think she's very flexible. Of course, the US Open she won with a more aggressive attitude, like just straight up, fully go for it, take the ball early. I think she's still probably her strongest when she's doing that. But the problem is today she just hasn't had the chance to do it. And now Rybakina plays a beautiful return right on the line. She leads 5-1. 22 minutes in. If she closes out this set, it might be like 25. It's pretty scary, but then, like Sid said in the comments, it doesn't have to last. Her style is kind of by definition risky. But the previous game was pretty brilliant, that's for sure. I didn't see any of Rybakina's previous matches, I don't think. She played Teresa Valentova in the second round, right? And that was a pretty difficult encounter, so I'm not really sure how it got so tricky in the second set. First round, I think she played Julieta Pareja, maybe? But
Yeah,
what
was it, 11-3? 11-3? Something like that. But at the moment, this is it's one-way traffic for sure. But again, it wouldn't surprise me, if Rybakina gets broken early in the second. Like, it's just the sort of tennis that comes from the Rybakina racket. Like, I mean, that's just ridiculous. Like the power that comes off that backhand. It's like.
Were you talking about the actual shot that just happened, or was that just a coincidence?
No. I was talking about that actual shot that just happened.
Oh, so I guess our streams must be pretty similar then.
Yes, I think they are now because I've moved. So now I'm actually watching this on my TV and
okay.
on my phone because I'm now streaming from my phone, and I'm watching on my TV because my iPad's just completely messed up. But yeah, I mean that backhand's just a bit of a joke, really. And Raducanu's strongest shot is her backhand, so it's tough when you have someone just producing that. Yeah, this. Yeah, as you say, it is kind of scary, and but then again, she could play a terrible set of tennis after this, and suddenly, it's wants it all. But...
Yeah, I think what I'm more so interested in this match is like not even the outcome, but basically, more like how Raducanu can handle it if one of the top players, and I do think Rybakina right now is like top 5 at least power level wise. Like, how does she handle it if Rybakina is playing well? So far, the answer is she hasn't been able to do anything really. But it doesn't mean that it will continue, of course. And there is a degree of sloppy errors from Rybakina, even in a set as perfect as
that. That second serve, 110 mile an hour. Probably looking at, that first serve's 113 mile an hour. So, just one of the biggest serves in the women's game. Arguably the biggest serve in the women's game.
Yeah, I don't know if it's still the case because, of course, she's had a weird year and now she's out injured. But I think Kinven was winning slightly more on first serve last year, but Rybakina was like top 3, and you could definitely argue for either, basically. Goff maybe in terms of first serve
Yeah.
power is also up there, but definitely somewhere among the top. And this season, I would imagine Rybakina is leading all the serve stats.
Yeah, statistics. Yeah, you'd think so. She double faults on set point, and we're at juice at 5-1. I wouldn't even say that this has been particularly bad from Raducanu. It's just currently that it's not really on her racket at the moment, and
yeah, she's like so pressed for time. I mean, if you just need to watch any of these points, right? Like literally first shot, she's already scrambling for it and barely surviving. So how are you exactly supposed to do something more about that? Yeah, this year Rybakina is first in terms of first serve points won, and second is Osaka, not trailing by too much of a margin, to be fair. But yeah, basically Rybakina and Osaka are up there.
Osaka's, that's not really a surprise as Rybakina closes out the first set 6-1 in 27 minutes. That was very comprehensive.
Yeah.
Alcaraz and Darderi is about to get underway on Ash. Alcaraz looking to, in Damien quotes, continue to sinner his way through the draw.
Yeah, I mean, the first 2 rounds kind of an Alcaraz-like. That's what I meant with the tweet, basically. I think Darderi is also not really a threat. Bonzi Rinderknecht in the 4th round. I mean, it's pretty clear we're getting that Alcaraz. Well, it's pretty clear we're getting Alcaraz in the quarters. Now the question is whether we're getting Ben Shelton. And I might surprise you on this one. But do you know who I picked to win that quarterfinal? Shelton Alcaraz.
Shelton?
Yes.
Yeah. It wouldn't surprise me. But then again, Shelton's 5-set form is very good. Not particularly that he's had big results against big players in 5-set formats. It's that he's very good with dealing with players ranked below him. He's the Alex de Minaur of the 5-set format.
Yeah, I mean, he's just very good, I guess, at managing the format helps him manage the ups and downs of his game a lot. And yeah, I know that he hasn't come close to Shelton Alcaraz or to Sinner Alcaraz this season in the free slam meetings, but hard courts against Carlos seems like the best opportunity. I think it's possible. Yeah. Jane, to your question, Kamil Majchrzak would be the Kamil Majchrzak, if I slow it down, because if you say it very quickly, it's obviously like gets a little lost there. But it's tough even for someone who's Polish, to be fair. Like the fact that you have how many letters in a row? 5 consonants in a row. It's not easy even for a Polish speaker. It is not. It is a clunky name to say, but it is fairly popular. Like he's not the only Majchrzak I know. But yeah, Kamil Majchrzak. That's more or less it. And also, how has the match been, DK? I mean, it's just a total blowout for now. If we wanted a question, an answer to the question of like how Raducanu responds if the top player that she's facing is on top of her game, so far she's just so pressed for time, on the back foot after every first shot from Rybakina, and it's very difficult. But let's see, maybe the second set will be any different. I loved how Emma was serving in the first 2 rounds. She gets an ace here. Maybe that can be something that she can rely on at least a little bit.
The serve's always going to be crucial, just landing that first blow, because realistically, first serve delivery is always going to be slower than Rybakina's, but not by a huge margin, I'd say. We're not talking the Sebastian Baez of...
Yeah, somebody in the previews, I don't know if you watched that video, but who was it, Zach or Carson? I think it was Carson, who said that Rybakina has like a huge edge on serve, and I don't feel like that. Like, obviously she's got one of the best serves in the game, but it's not like it's a major drawback. It's not going to be something that I think is holding Emma back in this match.
No,
yeah.
Especially if we look at the start of the year, when in Australia, she turned up to Australia. I think she hit like 11 double faults against Alexandra over at the AO in the first round, and the serve looked like it didn't have that much to it, to be honest. And over this year, it's really become a huge weapon for her. I mean, the first serve 2 serves ago was 108 miles an hour, and you think about Rybakina was serving 110, so it's really not that big a difference. Obviously, the extra 5 mile an hour is feels a lot more when you're facing it, but if we're looking purely numbers wise, it's not that big a difference. Emma needs to get out this game though. Two errors and pressure's back on her now. But yeah, I actually have a question for you. Do you we talk about Shelton's 5-set format all the time. How many seeds has Ben Shelton beaten at a Grand Slam?
Is it something you know, or?
It is something I know, yeah.
Okay. Interesting question. I mean, he obviously made the semis at the US Open, and I think he beat Tommy Paul there. This year, I mean, he made the quarters in there, and it's not going to be that many, I suppose. I wonder how many slam matches he's won as a whole. It's probably like... No, actually, this season it's already like 10-ish, so it's going to be like 30 wins maybe at slams. I don't know. Let's say 3.
It's 2.
Okay. Yeah. So it's Tommy Paul and
Tiafoe.
Oh, yeah, of course. I should have gotten that. So it's both during that US Open run.
Yeah. He hasn't beaten a seed in a slam this year.
Yeah, I mean, you're starting as a seed. So basically, the first 2 rounds, you're not going to play a seed, at least, right now. And then 3rd round, 4th round, I guess it's somewhat surprising that he hasn't gotten a seed in Australia or at Wimbledon. But yeah, I mean, you can also phrase it, the stat very differently and say that this year he's like, what? Let me count the wins very quickly. So 2, 4, 5, and 3, I guess. So I think this year he's 14-0 against players ranked outside the top 2 in slams. Or against non-eventual champions.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, I mean, you can look at it many different ways, I suppose. But yeah, that's pretty interesting for sure. I should have gotten that Tiafoe as well. I mean, that's pretty famous. I was thinking about that match the other day, and that whole kind of like emotional aspect of it and the showmanship that they were battling for.
Oh, that's such a good return. Emma was 40 love up, and we're now facing a second break point.
Yeah, I said that she's not losing the match because of her serve, and then the entire match kind of just is trying to show me that I'm wrong.
Saved the first one with an ace, or not? She goes down again. She misses the first serve.
Yeah, I mean, it's not really due to her serve. She had an ace this game. She had another ace on the break point. She had that point at 40-15 that she should have won.
I mean, Rybakina breaks for 1 love in this second set. Yeah, Emma trying to go big on the backhand and missing it into the net. This looks like her other 2 big meetings at slams this year. I mean, it's quite funny that all 4 of her slams this year, she's ended up losing twice to Swiatek, 1 to Sabalenka, and then this will be Rybakina if she doesn't turn it around. Yeah, it's quite a brutal draw, to be
Ben
honest.
Shelton, sort of.
Yeah, it is Ben Shelton's draw.
Just early, because she's been losing like what, 3rd round max?
No, to 3rd round AO, 2nd round French, 3rd round Wimbledon, and then this will be 3rd round of US.
Yeah. Swiatek, I mean, you kind of know that she's, I don't know, maybe not even ever beating her. Sabalenka, though, she's had a few very good matches against her, including Wimbledon. Today,
And
so far,
Cincinnati?
a beatdown.
Yeah. Cincinnati as well pushed Sabalenka pretty much to the breaking point, but couldn't get over the line.
Yeah, I mean, when we have that kind of a situation as here, she loses the first set in like 27 minutes. Second set, she's trying to hold 40 love, doesn't get there. It might be a sign that it's about to get brutal, but I do always have that feeling, as Sid said earlier in the chat, that with Rybakina it can kind of crack at any point, but I don't know. This is very random, by the way, but Alexander Bublik, I mean, he's not gonna crack, right? He's just gonna play Sinner, and he's gonna have a good match against him. What a man! I mean, he's been so locked in.
Does hard court Sinner just like kind of just sweep away Bublik? Like it's like
it's possible.
I mean, it's possible, but it's also possible that Sinner gets absolutely rattled. And
yeah, I mean, that's the most unpredictable guy on tour. So like, if you want to beat someone who has every single shot for Sinner is the best in the sport, so you can't play tennis with him, and Bublik can do that. So I don't know. It's at least interesting. It's at least something, you know.
It is.
Popyrin is one of the, I don't know, probably the best unseeded player right now, and you just don't even turn that much on because there's absolutely no effing point.
No, that forehand is a joke. Yeah, Rybakina still, down the tee, pretty much an ace. No real issue.
Yeah, it just looks so easy, you know. It's actually something I said about that match that I was watching earlier of Michalski and Denoden, because you know Daniel has done such a great job of like improving his game this year, getting to the net a bit more, being more aggressive, and it's nice. But when it mattered, deep in the first set, it's still Denoden because he just has that effortless forehand and you know goes 200 miles per hour on it, and it's kind of like that with Rybakina too. I mean, just can look. Yeah, like
absolutely. Like she's not even trying.
Yeah, exactly. And it's not that kind of like elegant style. So everybody always said that, like, I don't know, Federer made it effortless, right? It's more, there's more like grace, elegance in it. Rybakina is just more like, yeah, I mean, she's gonna come out, swing her racket, and the point is won. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean. Well, I mean, if she's going to start anyway, she has to hold here, for sure. But, yeah, this is a little... It's again, I still don't think Raducanu's doing much wrong. She obviously had a couple of errors in that first game to hold, which, you know, psychologically, you know, she's leading on the scoreboard in the second set. But, yeah, it's very different now. She's struggling to put together points, although Rybakina does send that one long. Yeah, I mean, realistically, it's not looking good. But again, you say, you know, Rybakina could crack at any point, and you know, suddenly it's 3-2 on serve with Raducanu leading, and you know, it's completely different. But yeah.
Yeah, already seeing some outrageous takes. Mr. 200,000 followers, Jose Morgado, saying that this is the best he's seen Rybakina play or something like that. One of the best sets she's ever played. I mean,
I like watching Jose after he clearly hasn't watched a match, and it's like he was commenting on the Goff Tomjanovic match, and he had clearly was not watching. He was like, because if you watched that match, you would have realized how strong the quality was for both.
But you just mean because people went by the stats, right?
Yeah. He was just looking at the number of unforced errors and going, well, you know.
I think it could be another thing though as well, because if you remember that Alcaraz Musetti Rome semi, and so many people were complaining about the quality there, but I don't think that's because they didn't watch the match and they just checked the stats. I think they were watching the match, but they just couldn't understand. Like literally they saw the stats and they were like, oh my, this is horrible. And I don't think they were just able to grasp the fact that it's two extremely good movers, super slow conditions. And it just looks like that. I mean, every single point is going to be, back and forth 5 times. Whoever dictates it changes 5 times. And for all I know, the Tomljanovic Goff was kind of like that too. The Tomljanovic Goff match was kind of like that too, but I didn't watch it, so I only. But I know what you mean because I saw a lot of takes on this, and some of them were exactly like yours. That like everybody's complaining simply because they're checking the stats, but it's actually really good.
Yeah, it was a very good match to watch. It was very good. Brenner and I, and then eventually Isabel, were there for that, and it was Tomljanovic was playing maybe some of the best stuff that I've ever seen her play. But
still no ATP Tour title. I mean WTA Tour title.
I'd be impressed if she managed to get an ATP Tour title. That would be that would be very impressive.
WTA she should have, but ATP tough one.
That's a tough one. If she gets over the line, then fair play. But that's
maybe Newport isn't even there. Yeah, never mind them.
Rybakina coming out to serve with a 2-1 lead with the break. Emma's got to start making some headway on. I mean, the first serve, she's hitting her spots really nicely as well. This isn't just she isn't sending it down in the slot at 110 mile an hour and Raducanu can't get it back. This is slot serving, really. Sorry, not slot serving, spot serving.
Yeah. I saw this quote today, Nurlan. I don't know about incredibly slow, but I definitely had the feeling in qualies that there were some matches where the court looked like mud, even though it shouldn't. I don't know. Trotter, Billy Harris. Fergus probably watched that one because it's Billy Harris, the Isle of Man or like Guernsey, Jersey. I don't remember which from Legend. Isle of Man, maybe. I don't know. Anyway, Isle of Man. Basically, I mean, they couldn't do anything with their serves, really. And I was just watching that and thinking, what the hell is happening? I think it can vary a lot depending on time of day, on even like that particular day. Obviously, we're in the day session here. It's pretty sunny. It's going to be a bit quicker. But I'm not surprised that he called it slow. I mean, maybe the incredibly was just a little bit of an exaggeration, though.
Yeah.
And it was after Zverev played Fernley, right? So it was after a night match, which again supports my theory.
Bingo. Rybakina racing through this match. Racing through this service game.
This match as well, but as long as it's one break, there is hope. There is some belief that Emma can do something.
Yeah, but I can sense that 3-1 will turn into 4-1, and I've seen this before, like all the time. Oof. Yeah. Rybakina does hold to love for 3-1, and she is, as we say, racing through this one. I'm surprised you didn't want to watch Billy Harris Auger-Aliassime. That match was so good. It actually was quite good. Harris played probably the best I've ever seen him play, but still couldn't take a set.
I don't know. What you said just now doesn't really track for me.
Whoa, that's probably out of anger.
I don't think there's anything that Emma has done badly in particular. No, I mean, is Elena having a particularly good day? Sure, but it's just like, what are you going to do if that top player is blasting the ball like that? And so far, Emma just looks so short on time every single time.
Yeah, I mean, the returns at her feet by the time she's come up from her service motion. And, she's trying to back away to give her some room. But, any neutral ball that has nothing on it will be put away. I don't think I've seen Rybakina miss one yet. I'm so excited for the British media
after this match if it does go the way that it's currently going.
James is not happy. He actually made a absolutely disgusting grammar error as well, saying might have been worth. But anyway, he says that Sky Sports should have pushed for the Nori match to be during the day because at least Nori would have won games.
I'm still not convinced.
I still can't get over the might of. That's something that's just I can't. When I see it, I just can't. Nori Djokovic I think is worse. There's no intrigue.
No,
you're
looking at a British tennis fan, and I'm telling you that I have next to no hope. I think probably we're looking at maybe 10 games.
Sounds realistic, sounds like a typical 6-4, 6-3, 6-3 between them or something like that.
Yeah,
I think Cam just tries to play the same every single time. It's not only a question of mindset, of course. It's also a question of ability, but I don't know. I just don't feel like he has the belief or ability to beat Novak.
The only time I had any sense of belief that he could get over the line was in Geneva.
Yeah.
Mainly because, Nori took that breaker, then it kind of feels like, oh, this is a one-set shootout. It then becomes very different. But then again, Novak kind of just turned on the gas and raced away. Raducanu does hold for 2-3, and it just sits at 3-2, and sits at the one break. And as you say, when it's just the one break, things are still possible.
Yeah. I kind of just think about Djokovic playing Tiafoe already. I'm sorry to Struff and Nori. Struff is obviously the more live underdog there, but I would just love to see that match. Vansh convinced me actually when we were recording the Iga Carlos show. I was like, Djokovic probably gonna get to the quarters, everything. He's gonna be fine there, and then maybe Fritz beats him. We'll see. And then Vansh kind of reminded me, well, not that I needed him to remind me, but maybe more so pointed out even further, that Tiafoe has been so good in New York. And I started believing. I actually think Djokovic Tiafoe could be a cracker.
No.
With the New York magic that Francis has.
The New York magic maybe, but you can't convince me. I just feel as though
he's beaten some big guys though in New York.
He has, yeah. But
Shelton last year, Nadal. I guess these are the big guys. I don't know. Okay, so just Nadal, and it wasn't a particularly good version of Nadal, but went 5 with Carlos.
Are we calling 2023 Shelton a big dog? Is that?
That was 2024.
Oh well, yes. Sorry.
When he beat him, yeah.
Yes,
but they played 2 in a row, yeah.
Yeah, sorry, I was so confused. I was like, what are you on about? It was, but 24. Yeah, but Shelton.
It was a great match. It definitely was a great match.
Again, Shelton didn't have the year that he's having this year. Last year.
Yeah, sure. On some levels, that is very true. I don't know.
Shelton, I think this is clearly Ben's best year on tour by a mark.
Yeah, that's not really something that somebody can argue, really. But yeah. Of course, John is going to say that it was a big win for Francis. He just simps Ben Shelton constantly. Jake, no, I just randomly mentioned being excited for a potential Djokovic-Tiafoe clash. I wanted to say that there are some women's matches going on as well right now, but no, it's just this one. Bonzi already won a set against Ritterneck, really? Oh, no, I guess it started an hour ago. What am I talking about? I guess this is the clear match of the day on the WTA side, although Vondrousova-Paolini will bring in some interest.
Yeah.
And the night matches are pretty good too. I don't think I will be awake to catch them, but Sabalenka Fernandez, of course, a rematch of a famous US Open clash. And then Taylor Townsend against Andreeva. Just, funky play style against a player who's much better, but who knows? Jake, stop lying. We're not gonna. I'm not gonna be in Montevar, and I'm not gonna be streaming at midnight.
You're not staying up for Nori Djokovic, or what?
Yeah. I mean, there is a match at night that I would love to see, but maybe I have a better chance of catching it by going to bed as I've been going to bed, and then waking up middle of the night. And that, of course, is Jerome Kim playing Taylor Fritz. It's also a match that can totally fail, and in fact, there's a big chance of just it being, completely unwatchable.
Yeah, completely unwatchable. Well, you think Taylor Fritz is unwatchable anyway, so
I kind of do, but if Jerome Kim comes out and shows his immense, unreal talent and is pushing him, then I would be enjoying that. If it's a 6-3, 6-3, 6-4 win for Taylor, I would not be enjoying that. I just don't want it to feel like a procession, I don't care. Well, I would like him to win, but I don't care if, it can be a good, nice, close 4-set loss. I just don't want it to feel like Taylor is obviously winning this. There's no point watching.
Yeah. I mean, Raducanu got to 30 all, but then an ace and, a neutral forehand that was just a...
That second serve return, though, I mean, should have been so much better. I have no idea what Emma was trying to achieve.
That's why I called it a neutral ball, because that was... Actually, I should have just called it a short ball, because that was...
Yeah, I don't even think it was neutral, yeah.
No. Yeah, that's... If you're handing those to Rybakina, you're asking for trouble. Yeah, Emma really now just... I don't know. She just needs to keep holding and keep believing that she's going to find... There's going to be some blip in the Rybakina game. I mean... How good is that return? Yeah, hits the baseline twice, and now, yeah. I wonder if the British media will immediately discard any progress that they think Raducanu's made because she...
I think they will.
Yeah, I think they will too.
Do you think she's unfortunate to have been... Well, I don't... Was she born in Britain? I think she was.
She's born in Canada.
Where? Canada, okay. So anyway, do you think that she was unfortunate to have been raised in Britain?
I mean, I think all British tennis players know that any media attention that they get if they aren't winning is immediately going to be, ultra negative. We, as British people, seem to really struggle to find the balance between constructive criticism and calling a player absolutely terrible. I was trying not to swear on stream, but she is quite unfortunate. If she was Canadian, I mean, can you imagine that all Canadian 2021 US Open final? I mean, in the US, what a moment for Canadian tennis if that was the case. But it's not, and 2 break points for Rybakina. The ball landing at Emma's feet every single point now, and she's, Raducanu hasn't produced a break point yet. Saves the first. I mean, saved is a stretch, but Rybakina goes wide.
I don't know. I just found it hilarious. That kind of like very. I don't know if disappointed, but your attitude there just kind of seemed like, Yeah, I mean, she saved. Well, actually, saved is a bit of a stretch. You just seem like you've given up.
I've never given up. You know, see, she saves the second serve into the backhand. Rybakina hits the net
With a fantastic save.
Yeah, bingo. Well, this is really rich coming from you for someone that really struggles to hand out praise. Like, you love to hand out criticism more than you love to hand out praise.
Interesting. I don't know. Do I?
Well, not criticism. It's more like, you are more the kind of person that would say that, let's take a match. Ooh, I'm just trying to think of you like in a big situation, like you're not gonna say like, oh, they completely dug themselves out of the hole. It was like such a great recovery. No, the other person completely threw away a lead, and you like they should be disappointed they didn't go over the line.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of
definitely
get
a
what you're
glass
saying.
half empty kind of guy.
Yeah, I was thinking about the glass being half empty too. Yeah, I mean, there is a degree of truth in that for sure. I probably more so look at how a match is lost than it's won. I don't know if the particular like comeback and like if that's the perfect example, but I think maybe just in general in terms of like, yeah, or actually maybe that's not even, I don't know. But yeah, I get what you're saying.
It's not a bad point, but Rybakina just has too much on that backhand. It wasn't line enough from Raducanu to cause any major problems, and it's break point again after having game point. It's break point number 3. I wonder if she can come with another fantastic serve. She's going to need a fantastic second serve now because she misses the first. The good thing is that she will last. Well, she will most likely last the hour, which is longer than that eager match at Roland Garros. It is wide. Rybakina does break, and it is 5-2 in the second set. It's going to be most likely exactly the same scoreline as that Roland Garros clash with Iga.
Pretty striking as well how against Tien, against Shibahara, I feel like Rybakina, Raducanu, any shot like that on the stretch, she still had enough time. You know, she was recovering very well out of the corners. I thought her movement was like really excellent and just limited the options so much for these players. But it's just the different level of pace and velocity from Rybakina.
Yeah, it's quite interesting because you look at I mean, the last couple of times she's played Sabalenka, who's also one of the biggest ball strikers on the tour, and she hasn't struggled to get out the corners. She's counterpunched well, and those two matches, this one and then the one against Anna Samova, it's almost like you can tell that extra 4-5 mile an hour that's put on the strike is very telling for Raducanu, that she can't, she's not as quick out the corner. She can't counterpunch as well. She's just been blown away.
Yeah, but then how does she stop it? How does she find the kind of weight of shots to overcome that? Like, I don't know, Rybakina plays Świątek recently, and you obviously have the ability to like move her with margin to the corners, start just, I don't know, start actually moving Elena around and then sort of like survive at least for a moment in that power hitting contest, and then start using like heavier, safer, but very precise shots to, get her wide. And for Raducanu, that shot just kind of doesn't exist.
It's something that definitely needs to be developed. Yeah. I agree with Jake. Raducanu is... This could be a 4-winner game. Rybakina going to close it out in easy fashion.
I think Radu's style is a little too predictable for Rybakina. Interesting question, Nurlan, but I don't think she's showing any style. Like, I think today, I could be out there on the court instead of Raducanu, and it wouldn't really change all that much. She's just getting like dominated to a point where she's not getting to show her style of play. There's no style of play in standing there and trying to catch one shot after another and basically being late for every single one of them. It's not something that, I'm criticizing her for. It's just how her game matches up presently against someone like Rybakina who's like on point on the day, I suppose. But yeah, I don't think it's a question of predictable playstyle. It's more not having that kind of like heavy, bigger ball to fight back.
And this isn't a match point for Rybakina. I'll say it after this point. It does go long, and Rybakina sweeps aside Raducanu pretty easily there. Very simple for the Kazakhstani in the end. Not really anything too bothered about that. She didn't have a break point to face. She was very comfortable on serve, hitting her spots nicely, and just blew Raducanu off the court. I was going to say, it's not like Raducanu isn't a big ball striker. It's not like she's this like Tatiana Maria sort of like slice and dice sort of player, although she does have a great backhand slice. She is a big ball striker, but trying to match the weight that Rybakina produces is not something that she has just yet. Whether she changes that when she with Rug is up to them. But yeah, for today it was one-way traffic. It was always going to be. She started again. I don't think Raducanu did anything particularly badly in that match. It was just that it was taken out of their hands pretty quickly, and then she was broken at the start of the second when she was 40 love up, and everything sort of went downhill from there.
Yeah, I mean, it's a fascinating career that Raducanu has already had. Most players, they kind of like start out by having a very limited game. They develop as time progresses, and then they maybe win something big. And she kind of won something big, and now we're seeing that it was still with a limited game. It was still with a game that right now is just not really going to stand up to someone like Rybakina. If Elena is having a good day at the office, if the ruthless firepower is just a little much, I don't really know what Emma was supposed to do here, with her current set of skills and abilities. I mean, I really cannot say that she was playing poorly or that she didn't fight. But at this point in time, this was the most that she could have done against Rybakina on such a good day, which is a bit eye-opening, but at the same time shouldn't really cut back on any of the comments that we've made previously on her improvement, on how good she's been the last few months, finally playing regularly, staying healthy, competing against some top players, 2 very good matches against Sabalenka. It's not like this happens to her all the time. But I mean, presently, Rybakina was just far too good on the day, and Raducanu didn't have too much to say in this matchup. And I mean, this was supposed to be a Rybakina test, I suppose. Well, okay, she was tested by Valentova, but maybe the first, maybe the most important match on the way to the quarterfinals. And she's passed it with flying colors, hasn't she?
Absolutely, she has. I think there was pretty much nothing else that she could have done today differently. It'd be interesting because the stats will still say that Rybakina made more unforced errors, I actually think, than Emma did, but the forced error count is, heavy in favor. I mean, it was very simple today. She made it look simple anyway. But this is, I think producer said this is the first time she's read the second round of the US. And, she's looking very good. She's obviously had a very good start to very good North American hardcourt swing so far. And, Damien has her going to the final. So, who
Oh, it's
knows?
Vondrousova Paolini next. Okay. I might have underestimated the chances. Yeah, second week. Fergus said second round, but it's obvious what he
Sorry,
meant.
second week. Sorry. I meant
Vondrousova Paolini, I might have underestimated that fourth round a little bit. But right now I have a lot of belief in Rybakina's form.
I still think it will be Rybakina that makes the quarters here, whether it's Paolini or Vondrousova. But as you said, there's no reason to, all British media will jump on this as is this a reset for Raducanu once again after, another beatdown. I think 4 for the season, like proper beatdowns. 2 for Iga, 1 for Anisimova, and then 1 for this. 1 today. But maybe I'm missing 1. But
could be. I mean, I'm mostly thinking about the slam matches. I mean, there might have been something like Marchish that.
Yeah, no, there was the one against Goff. She lost, I think 2 and 3, but
1 and 2. Yeah, I'm just checking.
Oh, was it 1 and 2?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I don't know how you felt about the Indian Wells match against Moyuka Uchijima. To be fair, I don't remember it much.
That was. I like to put that on my memory, so we're not going to talk about it.
Maybe the worst one though was Buxa in Singapore. I remember watching that.
Yes.
Anyway, great form recently. I mean, she's definitely improving.
I'm talking about beatdowns in a sense, like. Proper
yeah, I know. She's definitely improving. She's heading somewhere, but presently a player like Rybakina was just too much.
Yeah, when she's on, and that's obvious. You have to remember that Raducanu is still 22, which is kind of crazy because it feels like she's been around for forever. She's got so much time left on tour that I'm sure we will get to a point where she can quite easily, when she is that, top 15, top 20 player. But I think that is probably the base level. Obviously, she has been a top 10 player before, but, yeah.
No, I'm sorry, but I have to read this. And this isn't a Brit. Okay, by the comment, I thought that this was going to be a Brit, but that's somebody from Phoenix, Arizona, apparently. So I said on Twitter that Raducanu has gotten herself to like that top 20, 30-ish level and something later. But Mr. Garland, I suppose, says that 20, 30, but she's not really good. The rankings are more about who can actually afford to travel and get to tournaments more than ability. Raducanu is really about 40, 60 range and ability, but can afford to travel, so she picks up points. It's amazing. I mean, I usually shouldn't reply even, but I'm just gonna say something like, I don't know, top 100 players can afford to travel.
I'm not gonna comment on that because I will be here all day. Yeah, listen, I actually do think that Raducanu, this is probably Raducanu will win her first WTA title in Asia this year. I couldn't tell you where it would be, but I just feel like she's playing too well at the moment not to,
I know what Garland will say then.
Yeah, clip this, put it on Twitter and at him, and I'll see his reaction.
Garland will just say, "Oh, I mean, not everybody traveled to Asia. It's a big expense, and Raducanu has so much advertisement money. Her Rolex contract got her there."
But I do think she will win her first WTA title in Asia at some point at the back end of this year. But for now, she just it's something she can't dwell on this one. It's, like her first 2 slam losses this year, it's something to move on from and just accept that she was beaten by the better player today.
I don't think they play on the same court, Ashley, but they will be playing relatively soon. I think they're after one of the men's matches. Typically, it works like that. Could check the schedule if you want to, but I don't know. Well, maybe I will. But yeah, it's not going to be right after this one.
Alcaraz continuing to sinner his way through the draw. 6-2 first set against Arderi.
Yeah, so Vondrousova and Paolini are going to play after Lehečka Collignon, Ashley. And then Lehečka is currently leading that match, a set and a break up. So if he closes it out in straights, it should be in like an hour or something like that. After Raducanu, Rybakina, we're going to have Shelton and Manarino. But that's not before 1:30 local time. So not before an hour and 10 minutes.
Yeah. Right. I think that is. I have to write a very long tweet defending Raducanu to the British media and write out. So, you know,
gotta start that book, you know.
Yeah, gotta start that book. Wow, am I glad I brought Twitter Premium so I can, you know, write as many characters as I want about how everyone needs to just give it a rest for once. Bonzi is set and on serve in the second. But yeah, thank you very much, Damien. It was a pleasure as always. It's been a little while since I've actually seen you on stream, so yeah, thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you everybody who joined. I don't know actually what our content plans are for the rest of the day, Ashley. Sorry. So, but yeah, keep tuning into the channel, and obviously if the streams are there, then they're there. Yeah, thank you to everybody who showed up, and thank you, Fergus, and see ya.
If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe and click that notification bell so you don't miss out on all things tennis.